company. As with the past 2 years, this meeting is being held via recorded teleconference. I would like to thank members for taking the time to vote. With regard to the nomination or election of the chair of the meeting, Article 10.7 of the Articles of Association states that general meetings shall be chaired by the person who has been appointed to chair meetings of the board. So nomination or election for the chair only comes into play if the chair of the board is not present. Stephen Verpoli and I are both jointly chairing the board at present, and we have agreed that we shall jointly chair this meeting. With regard to the confirmation of due notice of this meeting, Article 9.1.1 of the Articles of Association requires that the notice of an annual general meeting be with members 21 days before the date of the meeting. The notices were sent out on 31 May, which satisfies the terms of the Articles of Association. With regard to voting and quorum, we used an email ballot process to provide members with a facility to vote ahead of the AGM, and will therefore be using those votes to quorum this meeting. The quorum for the meeting, according to Article 10.2 of the Articles of Association, is 3 members entitled to attend and to vote upon the business conducted at the meeting, or 1/10 of the total membership at the time, whichever is greater. I am pleased to say we've received several votes, so the meeting is quorate and can proceed to business. With regard to apologies, as a result of the current situation, we provided all members with an opportunity to give their input ahead of the AGM, so apologies were not required. For the approval of the minutes, I will now hand over to Stephen Verpoli.
Thank you, Chris. The minutes were circulated with a notice of the meeting, and we asked members to comment on the accuracy of the minutes. We received no comments on accuracy, so the minutes will be adopted with effect from the end of this meeting. With regard to the consideration of the following resolutions. As part of the formal business of the meeting, there are 4 ordinary resolutions. Resolution 1, 2, 3 related to the re-election of 3 directors to the board, and the 4th resolution ratifies the appointment of a director to the board. With regard to the re-election of Ms. Lynn O'Donnell, Mr. Alan Leibowitz, and Ms. Ruth Jimenez Saavedra to the Board of Directors. Pursuant the Article 17.1 of the Articles of Association, Lynn O'Donnell, Alan Leibowitz, and Ruth Jimenez Saavedra have indicated their willingness to stand for re-election as directors of OHTA. We asked members to vote on this resolution. I can announce that the result of the vote means that Lynn O'Donnell, Alan Leibowitz, and Ruth Jimenez Saavedra are re-elected to the Board of Directors of OHTA with effect from the end of this meeting. Congratulations to these candidates. I now hand over to Chris again.
Thank you, Stephen. With regard to the approval of appointment of Dr. Sharon Johnson to the Board of Directors, pursuant to Article 18.3 of the Articles of Association, Sharon Johnson has been appointed to the Board of Directors of OHTA. We asked members to vote on whether they approved of this appointment. I can announce that the results of the vote means that Sharon Johnson is approved as a director of OHTA with effect from the end of this meeting. Congratulations to this candidate. With regard to the presentation of the trustees' report and independently examined financial statements, I will now hand over to Alan Leibowitz, our honorary treasurer, to present the trustees' report and financial statements for 1 year ended 30 September 2021 to be received by the AGM. Alan?
Thank you, Chris. I can report that the trustees' report, including financial statements, were distributed via email on the 13th of June. I can also confirm that we received no comments regarding those reports. Stephen?
Thank you, Alan. So no other relevant items of other business have been brought to the company's attention prior to the meeting. Therefore, with our business concluded, that closes the formal part of our meeting. I will now turn over to Alan Leibowitz and Sharon Johnson for an overview of OHTA and an update on recent activity.
Thank you, Stephen. This is our follow-up to the general meeting having been closed. This is just an update on all the different things that have been happening, the exciting activities happening in OHTA. Next slide. First, let me just introduce the new board of directors, including Dr. Johnson. Welcome, who will also work on this presentation with us. Next slide. These are our key committees. Our advisory committee has done terrific work over the course of the year and continues to help us lead OHTA into the future. It's co-chaired by Michael Connor and Dr. Albert Tien. Next slide. Some other key committees. The U.S. chapter is chaired by Mark Katchen. The editorial committee, who's done just a terrific amount of work and accomplished quite a bit over the course of the past year, is led by Sven Hoffman, and our awards and qualification committee is chaired by Lynn O'Donnell. The newly formed, or formed over the course of the past year, OHTA news team led by Debbie Dietrich and Jason Hodgkiss have put out a tremendous series of newsletters named The Global Link. Our first issue was January of last year, and it works to increase the communication networking among OHTA member associations, helps us to enhance engagement with our volunteers and stakeholders, and it really promotes global recognition of OHTA training modules with the goal of increasing participation in OHTA courses. If you haven't done so, please sign up at the link below to see an issue that has been recently released on a lot of the good work done at the recent Industrial Hygiene Conference in the US. Our online training delivery task group has done a tremendous amount of excellent work. If you remember, they started at the beginning of COVID and have continued their progress over the past 2 years. They follow a QA process that just ensures that our distance learning is done in an appropriate fashion that communicates our materials in a way that has been acceptable and approved over the entire course of OHTA. Right now, 25 ATPs are approved for delivering online training in 2021. We approve all the updates and changes to the courses that are used and modified for online delivery. And we will work with BOHS to carry out joint review of distant learning and the exam processes. The task force is led by David O'Malley and includes Zach Mansdorf, Andrea Hildinga, Lucetta Weaver, Sven Hoffman, and Terry McDonald. And before I turn the rest of this over to Sharon, I'd like to just remind everybody that we have changed our administrative services. They're now being performed by MCI. You can see Vicki Wild's picture there. She is your key point of contact for any questions you might have about OHTA. These are important numbers and email addresses that you can use if you have questions on what's going on or who might be able to help you with a particular question. And now, Sharon.
Thank you, Alan. I'd like to give a brief update on some of the achievements during 2020, 22, 21. The global challenge, in fact, it's been determined that we need something like 44,000 certified occupational hygienists, but currently there's only about 8,000 available, which just highlights the need for greater training to upskill our occupational hygienists. Thank you. Next slide. So in fact, since OHTA started back in 2010, we've actually completed greater than 11,500 exams in more than 50 countries, which is a wonderful achievement. In fact, there are the two major exams that are well supported are the basic principles and air sampling, which are real cornerstones of occupational hygiene. In 2021, we had 27 ATPs ran 142 courses, which is really quite remarkable considering it was COVID, and those courses were done online, but it's still a fantastic achievement. And we have 29 MOUs with OH member associations. And I'm going to talk about that this is increasing, which is really very exciting. There's one aspect there, a note made about an undetermined number of courses without exams. We could only track the number of courses completed when people complete the BOHS exams. And in fact, we believe there's many more courses run that just are not monitored. And I think this is an area where we can improve our performance and determining and getting some idea of how many courses are being run, which means we are actually reaching out further than we currently thought we were. Next slide, please. Okay, this is just a fantastic slide just showing the impacts of OHTA in 11 years that we are amazingly covering so much of the world. In fact, there is no figure there, but you know, considering what there's about 6 or 7 billion people in the world, we are touching a significant number of people. So it's been a fantastic achievement in 11 years since its conception. Greater than 50 countries, 1,417 courses, and over 11,000 exam candidates. But there's still some more opportunities. Next slide, please. Okay, this is an interesting illustration of where the OHTA courses contribute to the career of occupational hygienists. When people start out just being aware of what occupational hygiene is, the OHTA courses give them a really sound basis for their foundation and intermediate levels. In fact, people can contribute to the courses to an ICERT in occupational hygiene. And then there will be a percentage of people who go on to become specialists and leaders in the field. Thank you. Okay, and another slide which gives an outline of the key courses that are on offer from OHTA. These have been well received, and currently some of these are being updated at the moment. You can see that the 7 courses there, the yellow courses, the intermediate level, are often presented around the world. I know these ones are key ones that we offer in Australia. So thank you. Next slide, please. Another step out has been the increasing number of translations for these courses. Originally started off in English, but it continues to grow, with the basic principle course W201 now in Russian, Portuguese, Mandarin, and I'm really excited. I was working with the Norwegian Occupational Hygiene Society to see that W501, our measurement of hazardous substances, is actually been translated into Norwegian. So you can see that there's been a lot of work being put into making sure that these courses can continue to reach further into different countries and hopefully improve the occupational hygiene. Thank you. Next slide. Our current financial structure, we rely on the BOHS exams. We get a course contribution of £40, about 52 US dollars per student, which is paid by the ATP, and they collect the fields. It is really a meagre amount for the quality of the material that has been offered by OHTA. These are university level courses and produced by subject matter experts. So the $40 is quite a meagre amount. OHTA also relies on funding, and currently we have funding from the American Industrial Hygiene Association, SKC, the company, as well as the Australian Institute of Occupational Hygienists, as well as individual donations on the website. We are always looking for a donation because to improve the courses, upgrade them and update them, or increase the number of courses on offer relies on some funding. We have a wonderful group of volunteers, but it still relies on funding to continue, particularly with having a commercial administration support. So I'd encourage anyone who has thinking of a worthy organisation to contribute to? OHTA, please. And there is a donation site on the website. Okay, members, just a demonstration of the growth that has happened this year, that we have 3 new members coming from Guatemala, Turkey and Poland, which is very exciting. Really moving into new areas that we've never been involved in before, and so we're excited to embrace these new areas. Thank you. Next slide, please. Again, you can see our member countries come beginning of this year. We had 29 member associations, now up to 32 with those latest ones, and including places like India and the Philippines. Again, really important areas where there's a lot of manufacture in the world, and I'm excited that we're reaching out into these countries. Next slide, please. Okay, collaborations. The 2 courses there, 2 areas there. We've collaborated with the American Industrial Hygiene Association with their basic principles industrial hygiene, and you can see the website there for their e-learning version. And also, in addition, with Zach Mansdorf's team, the Phylar group, we've done a health and safety awareness course, which is, again, really exciting. People are reaching out to us to do more courses, and hopefully we can continue to grow. Thank you. Next slide, please. Very exciting. We continue to work with NIOSH. They've collaborated on 4 projects initially. One of the best subject matter expert organizations in the world. And I think that's one of the exciting things about OHTA. It's so well respected around the world that it can attract the best organizations to support on our training material. So this collaboration with NIOSH has been set to commence in the second half of 2022. Thank you. Projects that we're going to work with NIOSH are noise, W503, oil and gas, a specialist area, and as you remember at the top of that pyramid is one of our leadership and specialist areas. Silica hazard awareness, a very exciting one because silica is one of the major occupational health diseases around the world with at the moment, with increases of silicosis, unfortunately. And one of our important courses there, the W501, the measurement of hazardous substances, is in final review, and that's a cornerstone subject for our range of subjects. Thank you. Next slide, please. Future plans. OHTA are currently undertaking a comprehensive strategic review to find ways to increase revenue and improve efficiencies within that organisation. The review will inform a new OHTA business plan, which is very exciting, and OHTA intends to develop better processes to communicate with and serve our ATPs and member associations. So many opportunities are there now with technology. I think that's, and communication is core to doing good business. Thank you. Next slide, please. Our final slide. So thank you. And at this stage, that completes our AGM. Thank you.